Hey everyone, welcome to our small footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a large family living off grid in Australia. It is grocery day. I did not film a shop with me. I'll get into that in a little bit, but before the kids start coming out and unpacking the car, I wanted to show what ended up happening. Part of what the issue was is that I was supposed to get a trailer and I didn't, so we've had to do it all just in the car, and I didn't know how much would fit. And anyway, we'll show you what we got in the car. I'll go into the story around it, and then we'll go through the groceries as well. I'm just doing this on my phone quickly because it's in my hand and easy. So the car is loaded to the eyeballs. You are going to have to open the windows and get stuff out the windows before you can open the doors, otherwise things are going to fall out. I also had to go to the post office, so I had to grab a couple of things from there, but it is not even as full as I expected it to be. So I actually had far more room than I thought. I had all this room on top here that I could have put stuff, and even actually there's a bit more room. Oh, you got reflections, a bit more room, can't see, a bit more room, like the front seat, basically empty. So I didn't grab some things, and I really should have because I had more room. But that was a learning curve, and as I said, we'll go over it in a minute, but this is what it looks like in the car. And this is the lovely new car that was gifted to us, so yeah. Hey guys, future me coming in just to let you know that the time got away from me, life got in the way, it poured rain all day Saturday, and so everything's a little all over the place. So I'm going to show you the whole grocery haul that I filmed first, and then I'll come back at the end and discuss what happened and the dollar value and things like that. And then it's Sunday, so I might film the Sunday chat as well and go more in depth in anything for the people who aren't interested in all that stuff and just want to see the grocery haul, so that it's separate from that. I know what I mean. But anyway, let's get back to it. So this is the actual grocery haul for July of 25, and I'll see you guys at the end again as future me. It's all over the place. Sorry guys. Alrighty, we've got the first table. There's bonuses to being home in daylight, instead I'm not filming in the dark, but that sun is blasting straight through into my face, so this is going to be fun. Alright, first table full. As we know, we have multiple tables. It depends on how much we get as to how many tables, and I don't imagine there'll be many this particular trip because it really was a little bit of a all over the place, not quite right. But I did get a few extra bits and pieces that I don't normally get. This brand of granola was half price, and it worked out about 60 to 75 cents per 100, which isn't a bad price for granola, and I've been going to make it and I haven't made it, and so I thought I would grab it while it was cheap. Some of these were replacements for ones that I ordered and there weren't any left, so I don't know which ones I ordered, but there was a bunch that were half price at this week. I grabbed our normal wheat bix, so half a dozen of 4 wheat bix, and for rice bubbles, these wheat bix bites were half price, so I grabbed them. I don't think the kids have tried them before, and I thought they'd like them, and they always love the honey Cheerios, and they were half price too. I grabbed 6 of the rice cakes. They still have some left in the cupboard, but I grabbed an extra 6-pack, and I grabbed a dozen of the plain rice crackers. Again, they've still got a few plain and some seaweed left in the cupboard, but this is just an extra 12. The no sugar added chocolate, we really like this. I mention it most of the times, but it's 5 individual little pieces. It's gone up in price now. It's $6 for the 5, but it's still a great way for Darryl or I with a no sugar coffee after dinner to have a no sugar added sweet and make it feel like we're having dessert. So I bought some of them. They didn't have all the chocolate orange, so they've actually given me the plain dark chocolate as well. We'll see how that one is. But I got some of those. So Oreos were half price. The kids requested some Oreos. They have a packet of these a night for the first 4 nights or whatever as a treat, and then they are gone. I got this particular casarecce, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, casarecce, I'm not sure, pasta, just because I saw a recipe using this particular shape and I wanted to try it because it looked really cool how it held the sauce. A couple of arborio rice. We still have a couple in tubs. This will be enough to make multiple meals throughout the month if we decide we want to. A bunch of the sugar-free jelly. We still do have some on the shelf, but these were 2 for $4 or half price or whatever. They were on special, so I grabbed a bunch more to go. They don't go off. There's 2 little sachets in each pack, so they just sit on the shelf in a container. Some udon noodles. We have udon noodles still left. This is another meal or 2 as well added on, just to make sure that we've got enough for what we want to eat. I also grabbed a couple of different types of noodles this month because the kids have been doing their homemade ramen noodle type thing. These hand-pulled style noodles, Mr. Chen's brand I saw were at Woolworths, so I grabbed those to try. But I also went to the Asian store and grabbed some from there, which are these ones, which work out a lot cheaper and look very similar. And then more of just the plain thin noodles, the Chef's World one that I buy in that 2 kilo lot that works really well. But they also had this particular flavour half price as well. I don't normally buy the ones that come with seasonings, but they were half price, and the kids have just been obsessed with noodles lately. So I grabbed 2 of those while they were half price to try as well. I did find Woolworths had some 1 kilo bags of popcorn in this Katoomba brand, which was great instead of buying the little 400 gram ones. So I bought 4 kilos of those. A couple of packs of the little Parmesan cheese. I got a fish sauce, a couple of the dark soy sauces, and a couple of the ABC sweet soy sauces, as well as an oyster sauce. I also got a baking powder. Aldi is the place to get the cheapest baking powder these days, and a couple of red curry and green curry just to top up our stock levels. A jar of anchovies, because there's a few people who like them on pizza and we were out. Some strawberry jam, because it was requested that I get strawberry jam because Sonnet wanted strawberry. There is still some blueberry on the shelf, but I got strawberry. We have plenty of peanut butter still left on the shelf, but I did buy one of the chocolate stripe ones that they really like. A couple of maple syrups. I also bought these syrups. They are a New Zealand brand and they were new to, I don't remember whether it was Woolworths or Coles, but they were half price because they were new. And I thought that these would be really good for flavouring the kids' Ninja Creamies. And there's a caramelised banana one. So with that banana powder, maybe the caramelised banana added to that will really push that banana flavour. So there was a mango, caramelised banana, a chocolate, and a bubble gum. But I thought we'd give those a go. Fruit crisps, these were half price as well. They're just freeze-dried fruit, little packets. The kids love them, and because they're half price, I grabbed them. A couple of the self-saucing puddings from Aldi because the kids had fun making them for dessert a couple of nights last month. I make self-saucing pudding from scratch all the time, but they really liked the idea of making it from the packet mix, so that's fine. And a couple of packs of these fruit snacks that they really like that were on sale as well. Coles or Woolworths had their little DJA range half price, so with $3 for these little packs. They're a 65 gram pack of this one, 50 gram pack of that, and I grabbed those because Costco doesn't normally sell the other sorts actually, but today they did. But anyway, so I'm not sure that Kavik will really like these. I'm not sure who else does, so I didn't grab a large one of these, but I did grab a large one of the pickled ones because I think a few people will like that. So this was 200 grams and it was $10, and this was 50 grams and it was $3 half price. So anyway, and I grabbed a couple of packs of the normal veggie crisps that they want, that they always request, and the tempura ones as well, because they're all favourites, those veggies and stuff that are dehydrated. I grabbed a bag of almond flour. I'm completely out of almond flour at the moment. Sometimes when I'm baking, I just don't want to grind my own almonds. I want it to be really nice and fine like this, so I like to have it on the shelf. A bag of chocolate chips. These have gone up to, I think it was 38, if I remember correctly. So they're still not excessive, but they're not real cheap either compared to other places. I got a dozen tins of coconut cream. We still have some on the shelf, but I got those, and I've just realised I forgot to get the coconut milk that the kids use in their hot drinks. I didn't see it at Costco, and I've just realised I missed it. A whole lot of the sugar-free cordials for using with SodaStream, some apple juice. A child has some powdered medicine that needs to be diluted, needs to be put in a liquid, and he prefers it in apple juice. A couple of packs of the tortilla wraps. They still have some left from last month, but I grabbed a couple extra. At the Asian store, I also got myself some gochujang and some fried garlic. I thought the kids might like to top their noodles and stuff with that, as well as just some standard garlic granules because I needed that for making the everything bagel, because I still haven't got around to ordering a bulk one of those. We got about 8 kilos of sugar just to top up the bin, 6 litres of the Kirkland olive oil. It's still sitting at about the $59 mark at the moment. A 4 litre of vegetable oil for frying. The 3-pack of the ketchup that I always buy. I needed some star anise, and I didn't really want 500 grams or a kilo of it because I just don't use it enough for that. So I bought just a small pack of that. These ones were half price as well, and we haven't tried them. So I thought that Darryl might like to put these in his drawer for when he needs a low-carb sweet treat. And I grabbed a couple of bags of coffee, but I actually ordered some coffee. I found a great deal. I have to put the link up. somewhere that sold flavoured coffee. It was 3 for $75, and I got like a bacon maple flavour and a chocolate pudding or something flavour as well. They sound really interesting, so I got them to try too, as well as those. So that is the first table, everything, I think. All right, second table. I think we'll get away with only one more, actually. So I got some, it's a bit all over the place, but it's just, bear with me. I got a couple of the cheese Kranskis from Costco. This is the cheapest way to buy them. I think it's $13.99 for these packs. So these are the cheapest ones. They're from the middle section, deli section, not from where the small goods are. Some lettuce. We'll just use this for hamburgers in the next couple of days, because it just doesn't last very long. I got a little thing of bocconcini to have with pizza just because I felt like it. One of the big tubs of Greek yogurt, which we will use and I'll use to start my next lot of yogurt. Some cucumbers for the kids, a Nuttalex. I bought myself the lychee flavoured drinks again. I bought myself one last month as a treat and just drank it slowly over the month, and I decided that I was going to get myself another one, so I did. 10 kilos of washed potatoes, a box of cheap avocado. I think they were $10 for the box. Most of them are pretty green. We have a bit of trouble getting them to ripen because it's so cold overnight, but we eat what we can, and that's why we buy them cheap, and we enjoy them when we get them. 2 cheap boxes of mandarins. These were only $8 a box. There was a couple of yuck ones in the top of them, and we'll go through them and move them to something else just to make sure. So just 2 small boxes of mandarins. I got 10 kilos of mixed apples, red and green. These are nice small ones, which is good, less wastage I find with the small ones. And a box of zucchini. I'm not sure how much I paid for it because I was just limited on what I could get, and so I needed to get certain things, and it was cheap, but I don't remember what it was. A couple of bags of carrots. I just got these from Costco because I'd have to buy a 20 kilo bag from the fruit and veg shop, and I didn't know if I'd have room to do that, so I just grabbed 2 of the smaller bags from Costco. I only grabbed a 10 kilo bag of plain flour. We should have enough baker's flour to get us through to the next shop, but if not, plain flour is interchangeable with a few tweaks, and the baker's flour only comes in a 25 kilo bag, so I thought I'd just grab this. I grabbed 2 loaves of high fiber bread for the kids. I'm going to turn this into the toasted sandwiches to go in the freezer, and I bought a selection of the Coles low carb breads for Darryl and I to go in the freezer as well. We really liked these English muffins. They were very nice. So I grabbed some of those and some of the plain bread. They also now have a bakery pack of lower carb rolls, but I wasn't really thinking about the fact that I bought these on Wednesday. So they'll be all right toasted, but they weren't really. Maybe we could do them with our hot dogs tonight instead of the hot dog rolls because it's a white bread or something. I don't know. They also have low carb wraps there as well, so I decided to give these a go. Now, none of this is particularly cheap because it's low carb, but if we really like it, then I think it's worth it in the end to have a few of them on hand. I also grabbed, the kids got these at the hamper the other day, they're little individual packs, and really, really liked them, and I saw these at Costco, so I grabbed them a big bag of those. Also have the bathroom, all that sort of stuff. We've got goat's milk soap that we buy from Aldi. I bought a infrared thermometer from Costco because it was cheaper than the place where I was going to buy one from to do with the pizza oven, so I grabbed that one from there, and some lighters to have for the gas stove and stuff. AA batteries, AAA batteries, some scourers, some foaming face wash for the teenagers, some paper towel, dish liquid. There was some cheap face washes at Aldi in the middle aisle, so I grabbed that, and I needed some Glad wrap after the kids destroyed my last one. I also got a box of shelling peas, though everyone's eating the outsides as well. I'm only eating the insides, but whatever tickles them. So these were really cheap as well. These were a $10 box, and our hot dog buns for dinner tonight as normal. All right, last table, and then after we've got all this sorted, maybe even tomorrow morning, we'll discuss the numbers and things like that. Okay, so I got 4 of the crumb chicken tenders from Coles, which work out the cheapest price with the 10% off and everything else, and everyone likes those, so those ones. I grabbed some of the fresh chow mein noodles because I really like chow mein noodles, especially fried ones with stir fries, but I only like them fresh, and I haven't seen these before, so I wanted to give those a go, so I just grabbed 1 packet. A couple of packets of parmesan to do like those onion ring things that we've been doing. They had some Manuka Honeywurst chipolatas, chickens ones at Costco, and they just sounded really nice. I just really wanted to try them. Hot dog sausages for dinner tonight and some extras. I have been asked to make the dough wrapped sausages at some point this week, the little like the Asian sausage buns. So I grabbed 2 packets of them. They didn't have the hot dog sausages that we normally buy, which was a bit sad, but I grabbed these ones instead. I grabbed the light sandwich slices that I talked about to try on the kids' toasted sandwiches to see if they tolerate these okay. Standard cheddar cheese, just that Darryl and I eat. I grabbed a couple of types of tofu. I grabbed this one from Coles or Woolworths in a delivery order, and then I saw this one at Costco, so I grabbed this one as well. I've seen a few recipes using it, and I have not ever really been a fan of tofu previously, but the kids haven't really had a chance to try it because I don't really cook it. So I decided that I was going to grab it. I was going to try a couple of different things with it and just let the kids try it, and then they've had the opportunity to try it and see if it's something they like. I got some of the Woolworths middle bacon, just standard bacon. And then I also saw this at Costco, maple cured streaky bacon, which will be a bit of a treat. It's about $16 a kilo. This is about $11.70 a kilo. So it is quite a bit more expensive, but it also is quite decadent. So I grabbed some of that just to have as a treat. I grabbed some of the smoked leg ham. I had been buying the ones that have the 4-packs on them, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but the kids find it okay and it's cheaper. But I didn't realise that this is actually Australian pork, so I decided to grab these ones this time because I quite like these ones. These ones are quite a nice ham. I also grabbed some of the Italian style salami that we really like. I grabbed a pork belly, a whole one, because when I do the bulk meat order, I don't like to buy their pork products because we just don't need like 6 of these. It's just not something that I want to spend that kind of money on. I just want one. So I bought this from there. I also grabbed some spring roll pastries because lumpia or spring rolls have been requested this month. So I grabbed spring roll pastry for the freezer, 2 of the pork leg roasts that I buy. Now, some of this will be smoked as roast because that's delicious. But some of this will be minced up to use in the spring rolls and also in the gyoza dumplings. So I bought some more gyoza wrappings so that I could put them in the fridge. Now I actually grabbed the round ones because I prefer this shape that's here for surface area of frying, but they just hold a little less filling. So there's pros and cons to them. But anyway, I grabbed these 2 and I grabbed 2 different brands because they're actually the same brand. They're just named differently, but they say they're both for pan frying and steaming. I don't know. I grabbed both just to have a look at the difference between the 2 of them. Some of the cheap Woolworths beef ravioli to go in the freezer. This is a really easy to put with a jar of pasta sauce off the shelf or bolognese for the kids, for something that they really enjoy, but it's really simple. Now, the McCain stuff, they had a special. If you bought $50, you got $15 off, so you got it for $35. The kids love chips. What kids don't love chips? So what I did was I bought a bunch of chips. I also bought them some onion rings, which they also really like. And then I saw these, and they have crispy broccoli fries and crispy cauliflower fries. Now, both of these still have some potato in them, and the carb count on them is still not great. Carbs are still 23.4 per 100, so they're not low as such, but they're lower than if they were potato. Not that I'm watching that, but Darryl still is, so if he wants to try one, then he can. If not, I wanted to try them because they sound tasty, and we did cook some of these up in Mum's air fryer to have with dinner last night, and they were really good, so I'm really happy with that. I also got a box of broccoli, which I had not shown before. I also realized that I didn't mention I had all the rice milk spread out on the table and then stuff stacked on top of it, and forgot to mention it. I only managed to get about 24 of those from Woolworths, I think it was. There was none at Aldi at all. But the kids aren't having huge amounts of cereal at the moment anyway. In winter, we're making pancake bakes and they're having their ramen noodles and things like that. So that was everything. So let me sit down, collate numbers, and have a think about what I want to tell you about the trip, and then I'll do all that before I end the video. All right, so the problems that happened with the grocery trip was that I decided not to take the big trailer that we bought. So I've discussed it a few times over the last few videos, but the really big trailer that we bought is really awkward for loading. It has no sides and no back. The intent was to turn it into a mobile cold room. We were going to weld a frame onto it and put the insulated paneling on it and all that sort of thing. And I got the trailer really cheap, so I bought it, on a whim, sort of, because we needed it, but also because it was perfect because it already had a frame
a steel frame there and it was flat and, you know, all that sort of thing. The problem came when we decided to try and create that project and that we couldn't weld. As I've said, our generator won't tolerate the welder. And we don't want to pay someone else to do it because that's not cost efficient either. We also have the issue that there's no bins anymore. Anyway, we'll sideline that for the next video because this is all about this shopping. So I decided not to take the trailer because it's so awkward to fill. The idea was to buy something while we were in Brisbane, an enclosed trailer, either a builder's trailer with ladder racks because that would be really versatile for other things as well, but has the enclosed space underneath. Or a luggage trailer or something like that. Something that was smaller, more compact, but had an enclosed space for doing groceries to make my life easier when I'm loading. Because it can take me an hour and a half to load the ute and the trailer or whatever from Costco, in the Costco car park. And in the middle of summer, it's 40 degrees and it's bright sunlight and doing it. And it's really, it's not great. So the idea was that if we had something enclosed, that it would make a whole lot easier to load, a whole lot quicker. And then with the new car, with the X-Trail, being able to put all the fruit and veg just straight in the back there, it would make the whole process simpler. So that was the plan. So I get down there on Wednesday and even Wednesday morning, I had started messaging probably a dozen different trailers because I had a range of prices I was willing to spend based on the size and the quality of it and stuff like that. Again, we're using some of that Thermomix bonus towards this so that I had a little bit of extra cash there for that purpose. Because we got the car gifted to us and we only had to pay the transport. A little bit of extra cash there. So I went looking, dozen people. I messaged person after person after person. I would say only 25% even bothered replying. And of those, the replies were really stretched, or like one guy I was talking to quite a few times, it was a good trailer because it was a more compact one. It was still a builder's trailer, but it was on a 6x4 instead of an 8x5, and all this sort of thing. And then I finally got, you know, proper measurements and stuff from him because it was 45 minutes from mum's. I didn't want to drive that way if it wasn't going to be suitable. And then he turns around and says, well, you can't come today. I'm not home. I'm only home on weekends. I'd already said I was only in Brisbane for Wednesday, Thursday. But anyway, so most people just didn't bother responding. The people that did, there was some that that seemed to be okay, but might have been an hour and a half from mum's place. And I didn't want to go there when there were other options that were better, that were closer. In the end, I didn't get anything. So I had to do the shopping without. Now that has impacted my decision making while I was doing it. So fruit and veg, I really limited myself. It sucks because he had some really nice winter strawberries and stuff there and I didn't get any of them because I just wasn't sure about space and I didn't want to end up having too much and not enough room. It turns out I had a fair bit of extra room and I could have got extras, but I didn't know that. This is the first time I've done it in that car and been able to assess the space, and it was really difficult to decide. And I ended up really short-changing myself at Costco as well because I just wasn't sure. And I don't know how that's going to affect this grocery trip length, how it's going to last. So I've done all my numbers like normal. I only spent $918.82 at Costco. I spent $364 at Coles, $326 at Woolworths, $110 at Aldi, and $130 at the fruit and veg. I didn't even go to the butcher because I only had the one esky with me, and as I said, I just wasn't sure. Some of that Coles stuff, there's probably $40 or $50 worth of stuff that I bought for mum out of that, but that's irrelevant. I don't tend to, unless it's something really significant. It's same as the Costco. Sometimes I buy things that are non-food and that, but unless it's something really significant, I just included it in this because this is my grocery trip. This is my supply run. You know, that's how it works. Now that ended up being $18.49.65, which is like nothing compared to my last few groceries. But the intent originally was for this to last for 8 weeks. And that was because mum's going to Canada for 5 weeks and I just thought I'd wait until she comes back. Now I have keys and everything. I can go to mum's place in between. It's neither here nor there. But I can't shop with the trailer when mum isn't with me, but that's fine because there turns out to be quite a bit of space in the X-Trail. So I might end up doing like a five weeks in and then 5 weeks again or something, just for this trip. We were trying to reduce them to 4 to 6 weeks anyway, but it's not happening how I wanted it to happen. When does it ever? But in relation to that, that means that it breaks down differently depending on the weeks. But I also did the bulk meat order. So the bulk meat order was done in June, and what I worked out was it was for last shopping trip, and this shopping trip covered meat wise. Now that means that it varies depending on how many weeks it is. So anyone who's been around knows that I really like my maths to work. I really like to have set numbers and to know exactly what I've spent and things like that, and it's not going to look that way this time. I'll put some diagrams up on the screen while I explain it, because it'll just, otherwise people won't be able to understand. But I worked out that the meat order that I bought, if it was to go over, like if this shopping trip only goes for 5 weeks, like if I go again in 5 weeks and we only carry that meat for the 5 weeks, which I don't think is right, because I think that there'll still be plenty of the bone-in chicken and everything even post the 5 weeks. But I'm trying to figure out costs. Like, it makes it difficult in that. But just the groceries that I bought, if it's only for 5 weeks, ended up $369.93 a week. If it's 6, it was $308. If it's 7, it's $264, and if it's 8, it's $205. Now, obviously, $205 a week is way lower than I would normally spend, so you'd think that it wouldn't last me the 8 weeks. But I do have all the extra backup of groceries that I already had here that are supposed to maintain backup, like, rotate your stock and you always have that extra at home. But the whole point is that the extra is there so that if I don't go shopping, then we have the extra to use. It just means that the next shop would be more expensive. But hopefully I've got a trailer sorted by then and it's not such a big deal. I don't know how it's going to work. And because of that, the meat was the same. Like, if I broke up that meat, it was either going to be if it's only a 5 week trip, then that's only going to have been 12 weeks. So it's 131 a week. If it's 13 weeks, it's 121, 14 weeks, it's 112, 15, it's 105. So at the bare base point, if I wait the 8 weeks, it'll only have been 310.52 a week, which is a lot less than I would normally spend, which is, pros and cons. But the thing is that I didn't get any chicken thighs. I don't have a huge amount of bacon. And there was something else. Oh, I didn't end up buying any beef trim or anything, though I do have some stewing steak that I'm going to turn into mince for hamburgers and things like that. So I could get by, potentially. I'd really like some chicken thighs though. So it means that I might end up doing another bulk meat order, which I wasn't going to do until the end of this shopping period, because you have to pay delivery on it. So I don't know. I'm still debating it. But I'll put the breakdown on the screen here as well for how I normally do it. I don't have it written down, but I normally do. So say we go on 5 weeks, $369.93, then I would normally have a breakdown here of how much that is per person per week, and then per person per day, and then broken down into per person per meal. So my measuring stick is that I do 3 meals a day per person, and that's what I look at dollar wise. I might do a quick calculation so I'm aware of what I'm going to be putting up on the screen, because I obviously didn't write it down here for some reason. So let me pull my phone out, and if we go, the 369.93 divided by 7 is $52.84 per week per person, and then if we divide it by days, it's $7.54 per day, and then if we divide it by meals, we're looking at $2.51. So it used to be $1.90 years and years ago. I used to aim for $1.90 per person per meal. Now it's more $2.90 to $3. So there's still a little bit of, movement there that can work to stay within budget. Now, my budget is a fluid thing. It depends. Food and that sort of thing is high up on our budget because we like good food and we enjoy being able to eat the foods that we want. So food and stuff is high up there in the scales of my budget, which means that I allow a little bit more leniency there than some people have the privilege of doing so. So all my main bills get paid. We have a very small amount of debt, but all of that gets paid. And then food is probably my next priority. So I allow it to fluctuate a little bit, and I assign enough on there that we can do the luxury items if that's what we want. So we're very lucky in that sense. But the dollar per meal per person is a really good measuring stick for me to make sure that we're staying, as much as I want to allow the luxury stuff, as much as I like, we bought, you know, like this month's shopping trip, there's that sugar-free chocolate, which is completely unnecessary, but is something that we really enjoy. I bought the kids a whole bunch of different cereals just because, again, unnecessary. I can make porridge, I can make granola, I can make pancake bakes, I can make all of those things, but they really like boxed cereal because every kid likes boxed cereal. So because I have the ability to pay for it half price, of course, I'm not paying full price for cereal, but half price, then I did. So, you know, the groceries could definitely be cheaper. Our groceries could definitely be cheaper. There's no doubt about that. We make the choice to assign, or I do because I control that sort of thing, but I make the choice to assign more dollars to the groceries than is necessary because we enjoy that. So yeah, so $2.50 to $3.50 per person per meal is sort of the absolute max that I want it to look like. And that's okay with me. Now, obviously, we break it into those 3 meals. The kids eat 5-6 meals a day. And Darryl and I only eat 2. But as I said, it's a measuring stick. It gives me a point of reference for every shopping trip that I can always calculate out exactly the same way and know exactly where the variations are. Now, I did with the bulk meat because I was trying to figure it out. When I did the calculations, because this one was ordered in June, so prior to, or including this one, I can't remember, it might be the last 6 months. What I did was I broke down everything I had spent on groceries and all the bulk meat orders and some miscellaneous extra bits and pieces, everything that I had spent that I had assigned to the groceries category. I think from the December shop, so from the Christmas shop all the way through to the June shop, so 6 months worth of groceries. I did a spreadsheet up and I calculated. I already categorize all my shopping, but all my grocery related costs, and also included all the bulk meat costs, and broken down over as an average over those 6 months. So 26 weeks, it worked out that it was $426 a week. So I'm okay with that because, like, some of those shopping trips, it felt huge. Some of those shopping trips, it felt like I spent far more than I should have, and I felt guilty about it at the time. But when I break it down on a more longer term basis, $426 a week for a family of 7 or 8, and that is everything we eat. There is the occasional time Darryl will take the kids to an appointment in Toowoomba or whatever, and they all go and have Macca's or KFC or whatever, and that's it's an extravagant outlay, but I don't actually include that in my grocery bill because it's entertainment, not food. It is purely for the benefit of an outing for the children. So it goes under entertainment in our budget rather than food, and it only happens once a month, once a fortnight, maybe. So it's not like, there is a lot of people who calculate their grocery budgets and they say they only spend this much a week, but they have takeaway, multiple times in a week, or they buy their lunches every day, or they whatever else. That's not, we're not hiding the spending on the takeaway. It's not really relevant for us because it's in our entertainment budget as such. And it happens extraordinarily rarely, and it's never the whole family. It's always just like a kid or two who happens to be on an appointment with whoever that does it. And occasionally we buy something from the RGA or the Foodworks, but that was included in that 6 months budget actually. I didn't have the takeaway stuff in there. I could do that though. I could calculate that out. I don't think it would make a whole lot of difference, but the RGA and Foodworks stuff was calculated within that $426 a week to a degree, and that's mostly extra cream for coffees, occasionally some fresh sort of tomatoes or lettuce or something like that, some packets of chips sometimes if we just want something like that, or whatever, that sort of thing, and that was included in that $426 a week. So over 6 months, $426 a week was what the total cost was of all groceries, including Foodworks and IGA just every now and again, as well as some occasional Coles and Woolies ones in between, which don't necessarily make it to these videos because I just don't keep footage very well, and all the bulk meat orders. So I'm okay with that. So anyway, that is the groceries for July of 25. I'm not entirely sure when the next one is, but when it is, I will let you know, and I will try and figure out how it works and all the rest of it, and discuss the planning with you as usual. I always do those planning videos and feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but I understand that it is it's listening to the way I think about it as I do it. And normally I do the shop with me videos as well, so you can hear some of the, you know, stuff that would normally be inside my head on the outside while I'm deciding as well. But I couldn't this month. It was so hard trying to organize that. It was just a crappy trip. So anyway, that's it for the groceries. For anybody who hung around past the actual groceries, that some people do, some people don't. And I'm going to get on with the rest of the Sunday video, where I might cover some more of what went on as I'm doing dough work and stuff like normal. But that is the shopping. So I'm going to try and get this edited and out this afternoon. See how I go. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you on the next video.